Solar winds swept clean this planet 4.5 billion years ago. Earth thrived. Its natural elements helped it to flourish, and its bounty was for all to share. Then a life form of superior intelligence evolved, and for a while lived in harmony with the Earth. But paradise has been put into jeopardy. The motives are irrelevant. The consequences, severe. The remedy is written. The elements of life are clear.
In this edition of Elements, the Casanova panda, delivered to a Mexican zoo recently, heads back to Japan after failing to impress the 3 female pandas in residence there. Fortunately, other zoos around the world are chalking up some great success stories. Colombian tourists and Catholics seeking a peaceful respite amid the chaotic civil war seething throughout the South American nation have found solace under a mountain of salt. But this is no ordinary mountain. But first, oxygen bars, a phenomenon that's already proved popular in countries like Japan and Hong Kong, is now allowing the people of Thailand to breathe easy. The country's first oxygen bar recently opened to the public inside a busy shopping centre in the heart of Bangkok. And it wasn't long before the locals came streaming in for a healthy hit of pollution-free air. The bar provides customers with a 20-minute shot of scented oxygen for about $4 US. During their time attached to the oxygen tube, customers are able to listen to relaxing music through the headphones provided, read the magazines, and order a cool drink. General Manager Butsadi Sakuntalak says she doesn't believe the oxygen alone benefits customers, but rather the whole package her bar provides. The mere fact they're breaking their hectic schedules to relax for 20 minutes or so is great for their health and well-being, while breathing in oxygen and listening to the natural sounds is a bonus. The bar currently gets around 40 customers each day, Thais and tourists who want to escape the Bangkok heat and smog. Customers can choose which scent they wish to breathe in during their 20 minutes on the oxygen machine. The fragrances include lemon, eucalyptus, geranium and lavender. Patrons believe that by forcing more oxygen into their bodies, they're compensating for the lack of it as they're walking the smog-filled streets of their city. Pollution levels remain high in Bangkok. A recent study found emissions of nitrous oxide and other nitrogen oxide gases from cars in the capital was estimated to be 527 tonnes per day, with the amount of carbon dioxide produced by Thai vehicles accounting for 20 to 30% of total carbon dioxide emissions. With the situation worsening, Butsadi believes that it won't be long before oxygen bars open up all over the city. Perhaps it was performance pressure. But Ling Ling, a middle-aged panda flown in from Japan to mate with 3 pandas in Mexico City's Chapultepec Zoo, could not do the job the old-fashioned way. 15-year-old Ling Ling arrived in Mexico City on loan from Tokyo's Ueno Zoo in late January on a mission to mate with Latin America's only 3 resident pandas, Xinjin, Xuanxuan and Xuinhua. Zoo officials had hoped for a natural coupling with at least one of the local females. But after 2 months of cold shoulders, zoo veterinarians resorted to artificial insemination. Natural reproduction is difficult in pandas because they're a very solitary species. and they only establish their pairings during the reproductive season. Between 700 and 1,000 pandas still survive in the wild, and another 100 live in captivity around the world. Chapultepec Zoo has one of the most successful and natural panda breeding programs outside China. 8 giant pandas have been conceived in the zoo since 1975. There are various theories about the success of the Chapultepec Panda program. One attributes it to Mexico City's 7,300-foot altitude, which is close to that of the panda's native habitat in Sichuan, China. Ling Ling will return to Tokyo shortly, but the zoo hopes to bring him back again in coming years. More good news from the Cologne Zoo in Germany, thanks to the pitter-patter of tiny lemur paws. The lemur, whose official designation is Sclatus maki, belongs to the family of so-called half monkeys and hails from the island of Madagascar. While lemurs are indeed whole animals, they've been given the name half monkeys in order to distinguish them from higher apes. Cologne's lemurs seem to feel at home in their specially built enclosure, filled with ropes and tree branches in order to simulate their habitat in the wild, by allowing them to climb and play at will. Sclatus maki are extremely rare and threatened in the wild, which may explain why they're doted over by their keepers. The Cologne Zoo has been home to these types of lemurs since 1993 and has successfully bred the mammals on several occasions. As a matter of fact, the baby lemur's mother, Gigi, was born at the zoo herself. And finally to the London Zoo to welcome a hatchling into the world. The endangered Neen, or Hawaiian gosling as it's popularly called, has been named Maui. Delighted zookeepers say it's another example of how successful breeding programs have become, as the chick joins a growing pool of Hawaiian goslings born in zoos all around the world. It's hoped that Maui will attract more visitors. Since the outbreak of the foot and mouth disease, the zoo has experienced a 50% decline in people coming through the gates. The zoo, which relies heavily on tourists, hopes that overseas visitors won't be put off by the extra precautions. The statue outside Colombia's Plaza del Minero offers a hint to the majestic wonders nearby. People arrive from all over the world to see one of the most unusual cathedrals ever constructed. Some come for the religious significance, while others want to be amazed by the architecture and beauty. Very few are ever disappointed. Far from the right-wing parliamentary guns, leftist rebel bombs and the street crime of Bogota, devout Colombians have cut and chiseled an awe-inspiring cathedral in caverns 750 meters inside the Zipaquira mountain, some 50 kilometers north of Bogota. Completed in 1995 at a cost of $8 million, the Catholic Cathedral, which hosts occasional weddings and baptisms, draws 200,000 visitors a year, making it one of the most resilient tourist destinations in the South American nation. The inspiration came from successive generations of miners who sculpted a niche altar to pray for protection under a mountain first discovered by Indians in the 15th century. Most astonishingly of all, everything in here is made from salt. The salt rock inside the Zipaquira mountain is white when moist with trickling water, but mostly it's grey-black and feels like regular stone. The beauty is that it can be fashioned into vast rooms, imposing sculptures, or robust pews. Directed by local architect Jose Maria Gonzalez, over 100 sculptors and miners laboured for 4 years inside the salt mine, blasting chambers, chiselling rock and smoothing the crystallised salt into a majestic and peaceful place of worship. The Zipaquira municipality, whose population is about 120,000, earns annually $1 million from the underground cathedral and also gains some much-needed civic pride. And it's all thanks to the original salt miners who first established the town and still work their trade there till this very day. In wintertime, Finland is usually hosting skiing and ice skating events. But at a 25-metre outdoor pool near Jyväskylä harbour in central Finland, the spotlight is on a sporting event more in keeping with the warm summer months. The Ice Swimming Championships. More than 1,000 people signed up for the ice. For their fans, it was a challenge to stand through several hours of competition. But many of the spectators practice ice swimming themselves, and they believe the spirit of competition in this sport is different from any other. First you compete with yourself, they say, then comes the competition against others. As the contest went on well into the afternoon, temperatures plunged even further. Fans and competition attendants danced and practiced martial arts in a bid to keep themselves warm. Most of the competitors take to the pool between 4 and 6 times a week and have been practicing ice swimming for a long time. But the contest still has its surprises.